we have last but certainly not least, and that is the Stranger Things tier list. All right, let's begin. Fred is pretty annoying. I'm gonna put him in terrible. He was just a headache since the second he appeared on screen. No offense to the actor. I have nothing against the actor, obviously. This is all, any comments that I make are strictly directed to the characters in the series, not towards the actual actors. Anyways, now that I've made that clarification, Fred was a pretty annoying character since the second he got on screen. Just constantly being like, oh, well, does Jonathan do this? Does Jonathan do that? But is he here? Is he that? Like, it borderline felt like he was trying to plead his case to Nancy for her to drop Jonathan so she dates him, which is pretty annoying. You don't want to see that, right? The Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer, without a doubt, such an amazing villain that they implemented in season 2, and I loved the way they did it. This specific screenshot shows the eliteness of this creature. For that reason, it goes in S. Holly, season 4, she wasn't really that involved. She did give them a pretty good useful tool. Otherwise, she was just there. I'd put her in B just because of how clutch she was in season 4. Mrs. Wheeler. Let's talk about Mrs. Wheeler. I think Mrs. Wheeler was cool and she was chill all the way until season 3. Yes, all the way until season 3 when she decided. Well, she kind of backed out from it, but she was about to cheat on her husband. Absolutely disgraceful and unacceptable. But the amount of chillness that she had, and she did let the boys and the whole gang hang out in the basement all the time, which is next level chillness and coolness. And considering she didn't actually cheat and she backed out from it, as she saw, what's his name, Mr. Wheeler and Holly sleeping on the couch, I can have a back and forth with that. You know what I mean? So meaning that I'm going to give her a bit of credit. She can go in the A tier. The amount of chillness that she had and how cool she was, other than the fact that she was about to cheat on her husband, I have to give her a lot of credit. If it wasn't for the cheating part, I'd probably put her in S tier. I'm not going to lie. Chrissy. Where are you going, Chrissy? Sorry. Chrissy, she was okay. She didn't really do much in the TV show. She barely appeared. Should I put a tier list just for irrelevant? I think so. I think it's very, very fair. Oh, did I spell irrelevant? I did spell irrelevant wrong. Anyways, Chrissy's pretty irrelevant. She was cool. She was okay. She had a good moment with Eddie. Overall, pretty useless. 11 is S tier. You can't really put 11 anything other than S tier. She's pretty new to the world in a way. She's still kind of figuring things out. Even when she was 16 years old, right? When in season 4, she was still figuring things out, and you can tell she was because of how she kind of interpreted the relationship between her and Mike. You can tell it's pretty common teen stuff, without a doubt. But the level that she was at was fairly still childish, which is understandable because, again, she's figuring things out, right? And she didn't have Joyce around at the time that she felt confrontational about it for her to really talk to Joyce about it and be like, listen, this is what I'm feeling, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I remember in literally the first episode of season 2, within the first few minutes, they say her name. Carly? Hold on. I have to know now. Stranger Things cast. Oh wait, I have to put season 2. Callie, I think Callie and her group had a lot of potential for Stranger Things, I think. To be honest, that whole part of season 2 was my least favorite part of the entire Stranger Things. And the reason why is because I just don't like how they kind of took 11, tossed her in this group, and made her do, quote unquote, whatever they wanted or whatever mischievous things they were going to do. And she was out. She didn't really learn anything from them. She just went in as 11, stuck to who she was, and just backed out and went back to her friends. She didn't accomplish anything. You know what I mean? Nothing was revealed to her. Nothing was... At the time, people saw Dr. Brenner pop back out, and they were like, oh my god, he's still alive. But he wasn't, because Callie was making that whole illusion 11's head. So... I didn't really like that whole segment. It was okay at times. It was fun. There was a few fun moments, but overall, not really. I didn't really like it. I'd put it like, man, I really need a C tier, huh? Add a row below. Yeah, I need a C tier. I need a C tier. And the C tier is solely attributed to Callie. And there's gonna be others, of course. Will is fine. Like, I think they could have given him a big role, but he was for most of the part pretty understanding and a great friend. You know, he always had his friends back. I think just for the fact of how much he endured and still was the good old Will that we know, you have to put him in S tier. And there's a lot of potential for him in season 5. We're gonna see. Dude, did you see that trailer when he yelled? That is crazy, bro. That was a monstrous yell. That was an insane yell. I can't even imagine what's gonna happen in season 5. Who was she? Oh yeah, she was Jonathan's father's new girlfriend. Irrelevant. Actually terrible. Let's put it in terrible. Because she literally saw Jonathan even though it was a joke, a kind of disrespectful joke, I'm not gonna lie. She looked at her husband and she's like, maybe I'll trade you in for the younger model. What? Man, get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? The lifeguard. Oh, I forgot what her name was. Rachel? I have to know these characters. I'm sorry. Characters. She played as Heather. Aha. It's not Rachel, it's Heather. Heather was kind of... She had a bad attitude. Let's all be honest. She had a pretty bad attitude for the most part. For that reason, bottom C. Erica. Erica's pretty elite, to be fair. I don't think Erica deserves anything other than S. Although she does have an attitude on her, which is pretty funny. Like, in terms of a character, it's pretty funny. But if someone gave me that kind of attitude, I'd be so annoyed even talking to them. But she's pretty S tier. I think she's better than Will. Not necessarily better than 11, that's for sure. Nancy's pretty A tier. The only thing that I hate about Nancy is how she's kind of bouncing back and forth between Steve and Jonathan. Which, at the same time, looking at it from just a normal human's perspective, you kind of understand why it's happening. You're going through all this trauma and all this trouble and all this danger. And there's these two people that are constantly around you, but at one point, one of them is there, then at the other point, they're not, but that second one is there, and then vice versa at other times, and then vice versa again, and then you're just not being able to make up your mind. Which sucks. Obviously, it sucks. But she is pretty elite in all the other stuff. Although I hope she makes up her mind in season 5 and either Steve or Jonathan gets chosen as her actual boyfriend. Imagine they both die. There's a lot of speculations that Steve is going to die. I'm thinking, imagine they both die. Imagine both Jonathan and Steve are both just offed. That would be crazy. Oh, what was his name? Oh, Argyle. I was about to say Erwin. That's Attack on Titan. Argyle is pretty funny. He was pretty funny. I'd put him top of A tier. He's not S tier because he's not really serving a huge essential role to the story. But he's so funny and kind of blends in so well to the group as a new character that, you know, he's pretty elite. Susie, I put her bottom of A actually, because she was pretty helpful in season 4. Oh my God! Wait, she caused the death of Jim. What am I talking about? She's terrible. Oh my God! I just remembered. If she didn't force, not Gaten, that's his real name. If she didn't force, holy, oh my God, what's his name? Dustin. If she didn't force Dustin to sing that 3-hour long song, she could have saved the whole world and Chief Hopper. But no, we have to get Dusty to sing with us. Oh my God, man, I can't even believe it, bro. That really, like, I had the same facial expression as who was it, Steve, when he was sitting in the back of the car. Like, I'm pretty sure he looked back at her like, man, what the hell is going on? I had the same facial expression. And when I realized, someone pointed it out, I saw like an edit on Instagram, and someone said in the comments, if they didn't waste 3 minutes singing that song, Hopper probably would have been saved. And I could not have agreed more, as I realized it was so true. And to this day, that is the only reason I absolutely hate Susie. Max, poor Max. It's time, Max. It's time. I think Max was actually such a cool character in season 2. She played in so well into the group. Season 3, I liked how they kind of went back and forth between. It wasn't kind of like a constant back and forth. It was just at the beginning she hated her brother. At the end she cried for him. Overall, her character is pretty cool. She endured a lot of pain, to be fair, which is so respectable. I hope she's still alive and they actually put her character to use in season 5. In terms of where she ranks, I don't know if I'd put her better than Elle. Elle is a pretty strong character. She's endured a lot. I think I'd put her middle of S. Okay. This character is one of Callie's group members. C, right away. Oh, she's terrible. She is terrible. I hope we get to see her suffer in some way, somehow in the last season because of how she bullied Elle. Honestly, I actually hate bullies completely. Who was it? Oh my God. Is he on the list? Okay, he is on the list. Okay, I'll get to him in a bit. When we get to him, I'll make a comparison. But she specifically deserves so much bad in the TV show. Again, this is not about the actual actors. I'm talking about the characters. The way that she bullied Elle, her and her little gang. Actually, her friend is literally up next. They deserve so much bad in the TV series. I absolutely hated the way they treated Elle. She's the one that sang the song. Horrible voice. She's part of the bully group that bullied Elle. Terrible. Dustin's mom is such a W. Top of A. Such a cute mother. You know what I mean? Wholesome mother. Wholesome. She reminds me of my mother a lot with the pictures. Specifically this picture. It was like the Halloween episode. And she's like taking all of these pictures. That's exactly what my mother does, bro. It takes a million pictures for each event, for each time. First day of school, 1 million pictures. Last day of school, 1 million pictures. Understandable though. The mayor of Hawkins. Absolutely terrible. Boom. Also such a coward. Are you kidding me? He can't even handle himself. Oh, Bob. Good old Bobby. What can you say about Bob? Such a amazing character. Good old Bobby has to go in the S tier. Even above Will and above Erica. Sacrificed his life. I think Bob... I wonder what Bob would have been like if he stayed into season 3, you know. I don't think he would have made it all the way to season 4. Like, his kind heart would have never been able to handle whatever the hell was happening. Bob Bob is definitely S tier. He literally rescued everybody in that lab, except the doc. But the doc decided he wanted to stay inside. So that's not his fault. That's not his problem. Okay. Let's go into... Did I really just forget his name? Lucas. Lucas is an okay character. This is gonna sound weird, but I don't think he served as much in season 4. Am I crazy for saying that? He didn't really play a big role, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. He did help warn Dustin. He then luckily made the correct decision to ditch Eddie. Or sorry, not Eddie. Oh my god. What was that basketball player's name? Hold on. Season 4 basketball characters. Jason? Was it? Wait, hold on. Stranger Things Season 4 Jason. Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah, he made the correct decision to leave Jason and his group when they were hunting Eddie and run away and get to his group. Season 2, he stood up for Max. That's one of the best moments. I think he's just barely clutching S, to be honest. He's barely clutching S. One of Callie's team members, another one, they both go in C. Ooh, Billy. I know it ended with an E, I just didn't know what it was. Billy's father is one of the biggest rats you'll find in this series because of the way that he treated his son. To be honest, if he treated his son kinder when he was young, Billy would probably have never turned out the way he did. But as we all saw in Stranger Things 3, when Eleven went into his mind, he treated him and his previous mother pretty badly. And for that reason, he is terrible. No doubt about it. Mr. Wheeler is going to be bottom B. Just because he is kind of irrelevant to the story, but he can add a fair amount of comedical sense to whatever scene he's in, which I can always appreciate. This character is terrible. He's a bully. Murray. Murray, on my list, Murray's in the S list. S tier. Honestly, he's better than Lucas, to be honest. I can't even lie. Murray not only is funny, but he has had a lot of impact on the story in terms of helping the story progress. Also, his moments with Alexei are just so fun to watch every single time. So yeah, he's S tier. One of Eleven's bullies, terrible. I think his name was Teddy. Or no, Callie said he's as soft as a teddy. He's pretty C. Mrs. Driscoll was pretty irrelevant. I feel bad for her. 10? That's 10, right? Yeah. Number 10 is pretty irrelevant. He is kind of sick, though. Chief Jim Hopper, S tier. Chief Jim Hopper, absolute S tier. Round of applause, everybody. Actually, I think he's better than Erica, Bob, and Will, to be honest. He's definitely at the very top right there. He has helped so much of the story. Do I need to explain? Like, come on. He got trapped between the vines in season 2. Or was it season... No, season 2. That was correct. Season 1, he went out of his way to get Will. Season 3, he sacrificed his life for Hawkins. And season 4, he came back in like a boss, got his lady, beat the Russians, beat the... What's it called? Beat the Demogorgons that the Russians have, and sliced his head off. Just elite movements from top to bottom, you know what I mean? Max's mother, you know what? I have to put Max's mother in bottom B, but Max's mother is bottom of B, but above Mrs. Wheeler. Because even though her husband left her like the garbage person that he is, she still took on 2 jobs. She was still kind to her daughter. She did her best. And she had to endure losing her daughter in some way, but I don't really. No, they didn't show that she knows what happened to Max, but we'll see in season 5. Billy, you know what? Even with everything that Billy did, the fact that he gained so much consciousness and actually he gained so much consciousness over himself and over the way that he's been acting this entire time, that he was able to stand up to that pile of goo that was controlling him and went up against it like the beast that he is, and survived 3 strikes from it while also holding one of its arms, which is so crazy. I guess all of his working out paid off. For that reason alone, I'd put him in S tier. Bottom of S tier, that is. He still had his evil moments, but he's a GOAT, dare I say. Eddie, I would definitely put him in S tier, no doubt about it. He was one person at the beginning of the season, a fun character to watch, and next thing you know, he was a completely different person after that, which is so respectable. And he sacrificed his life also for Hawkins. Also didn't let Dustin sacrifice his life because he knew Dustin was going to follow him no matter what. So he made sure that he hopped into the Hawkins side, the actual Hawkins, and then went on to do whatever he needed to do. And for that, you have to respect him. I'd put him S tier above all of the other ones, or I'd put him S tier, middle of S tier, because I think his sacrifice was a lot greater than the sacrifice that Bob made, and all of the other, and greater sacrifice than what Billy made. Although Billy voluntarily sacrificed himself. He didn't really need to. He voluntarily did it. So did Eddie. But Eddie's voluntary sacrifice was a lot more important and a lot more effective. Dr. Brenner. For the most part, Dr. Brenner was terrible because even though he tried to apologize, put quotes on apologize, even though he tried to apologize to Eleven at season 4, or in season 4, sorry, I think overall he was pretty self-centered and only was doing all of that for himself. He wasn't actually trying to protect Eleven or trying to make her better. He was trying to just get what he wanted, which is horrible. Robin. That was her name. Yes. Robin. Where does Robin go? She definitely goes above the B tier. Robin definitely goes above the B tier. That's without a doubt. I think she'd go top of A. I don't think she's an S tier character yet. She's definitely top of A. She did a huge part cracking that Russian code, and she followed the group into the deep without actually knowing what she's up against in season 3 until the last episode. But other than that, she was okay. Okay. Oh, I just remembered Mr. Wheeler's name. It was Ted. Okay, this guy. I forgot what his name was. But he was terrible. Not only did he make a joke out of Nancy in front of the other workers, but he also turned into a bad guy. So terrible. I forgot what her name was, but she was pretty irrelevant to the story. I don't care. Oh, this is the demodog that liked the snack that Dustin would give him. I forgot what it was called. 3 Musketeers, I think. He was a pretty big W. He's a bigger W than Holly and Ted. That's for sure. He's a very important character. He let them pass, you know what I mean? He let them live. This is one of Eleven's bullies. Terrible. She's terrible. She was such a rat. Ran her mouth way too much. Jonathan's father, terrible. Joyce, as Chief Jim Hopper would say. She is definitely in the S tier. Joyce is in the S tier. Joyce is below Jim. Joyce is definitely below Jim. She has made just as many sacrifices as him, but just slightly less. Will. That's not Will. Sorry. That's... Jeez. Whoever said on my YouTube video, you're not being a YouTuber because you're not yapping enough, I want you to come and watch this video and tell me if I'm yapping enough or not. Okay. Mike, at the beginning, I thought he was the leader of the group. When I first watched season 1, but he wasn't really the leader, but he held up his own fairly well. is what I can say. He would cover a lot of the holes that the team would have, a lot of the mistakes, a lot of things that they would miss. He's definitely in C tier. He's above Lucas. He's definitely in S tier. Sorry, not C. I would put him above Eddie. Dustin is above Mike in S tier. Steve is above Dustin in S tier. Lucas's mother. All mothers going A tier. Automatic A tier for sure. Barb, I'd put her in C tier and not in B tier because I think she could have done so much more to prevent Nancy from doing what Steve wanted to do in season 1. And yet she decided to be oh, but you yelled at me, so I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to listen to what you said. Instead of being do you think I care if you yelled at me? Let's go. He's playing you kind of friend. Which was her choice. She decided to be that kind of friend. And for that reason, you have to put her in C. Because she's not exactly irrelevant. She's, I think, the first kill of the Demogorgon, if I'm not mistaken. So someone had to sacrifice themselves. Will wasn't really that sacrificed because he stayed alive. Barb was. So you have to give her a bit of credit, which is only good enough for C. The Demogorgon is, as a villain or as an enemy, it used to be good in season 1, but once you see the Mind Flayer in season 2, then you're like, the Demogorgon is nothing. I'd put it like bottom of B tier in terms of epicness. Sorry, can't talk. Vecna is top of S tier. Dude, from the backstory, from how long he's been chasing them, from his actual powers, this character is so well put together. It is crazy. It's insane. Do I need to say more? He's definitely an S tier. Vecna is S tier without a doubt. This is one of the bullies. Terrible. He also bullied Nancy in front of the other journalists. Terrible. Luke's father. Irrelevant. Actually, why don't we say fathers are in B and mothers are in A. So Lucas's father goes to B. Jason. Pretty terrible. I was pretty happy. I'm not going to lie. The first time I watched season 4, I didn't actually clock what happened to Jason. But when I rewatched it, the scene came up again and I realized that he got split in half and he obviously died because the gate opened exactly under his body. And you can hear him yell in the scene. When I realized that he got killed from the gate opening, I was like, oh my goodness, that's the least that you deserve. Because had he not broken Max's headset, Max probably would have still been alive. Vecna would have had a hard time breaking into Max's mind. 11 would have had an easier time beating him. They probably would have won. But no, Jason thought he was the hero. He was the hero of the town is what he thought. And ruined it all. He pulled the gun on Lucas. Are we serious? What are we doing here? Come on. Straight into terrible. Bottom of terrible for sure. Jonathan. Like, I would put him in S tier. The issue is he's kind of like a Lucas. You know what I mean? Like he's there. He's putting in effort with the group. Or he's more like a Robin. Like, there isn't like any serious thing that Jonathan has really contributed to. Other than going to Murray Bauman and going, yeah, this is what we have. Help us out. Even Nancy took the lead on that one. So, I don't know. Ooh, but he did do a lot of important things in season 4. I'd still put him in S tier. He's above Lucas. Not above Murray Bauman, though. He's in S tier, though. Steve's old friend, pretty terrible. He's a rat. Can I move him, please? Thank you. Alexi, the saddest death. Actually, was Eddie the saddest death? Or Billy? Okay, well, he's definitely on the board for people that died and had viewers crying over them. So he's definitely up there. He's, I would say, bottom of S tier. Actually, no, I'd put him above Billy. I'd put him even above Bob, to be honest. Maybe I should put Bob like a bit lower. Yeah. Okay, Bob is like right here. There we go. Alexei is definitely S tier, for sure, without a doubt. He helped so much in season 3 and provided so much important detail and information to the group. It's unfathomable. Sorry. But yeah, I think this is actually well placed. Argyle maybe is in the wrong place just for Argyle might not be in the right place. He's too fun. You know what? Argyle can go bottom of A. He's too funny of a character. I'm not gonna organize within the tiers because that's gonna take even longer. I've already been recording 40 minutes just this one episode. That's crazy. But yeah, this is the official tier list for these Stranger Things characters. I think this covers this covers a big majority of the characters that have been seen in Stranger Things. Maybe in season 5 there should be an updated version, but for now this is definitely the tier list for Stranger Things season 1 through season 4, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not gonna lie.